404, you're live. Freedom Friday. Let me get my
Tim
headphones in.
Black, it's Ariel in Atlanta.
Ariel, how you doing, sister?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad that I'm the next caller because Lucas hit some things on the head. James Howard Kunstler is one of my favorite guys. He's a fabulous mind. I would love it if you got him on the show sometime. You would have a kick with him.
What's his name again?
James Howard Kunstler.
James Howard.
And if you don't remember that name, you'll remember the name of his blog because it's Clusterf Nation.
Yeah, that. I think I'm about to go with Clusterf
Yeah.
Nation. There we go. I'm about to use that one.
He's a really cool old guy who lives in upstate New York, and he talks a lot about the crumbling infrastructure of the country. There's been some great callers tonight, so I've got all these things in my mind. I'm trying to make notes. But yeah, I mean, he will talk about how, and he's definitely not like Mr. Feelgood. And that talk that Lucas mentioned, I watched that whole lecture with the four guys, and it's fabulous. So I highly recommend you or anybody tuning into that. It's excellent. And, the trouble is, as we're coming to huge changes environmentally, energy-wise, the whole thing is on the line. And so, people all say they want, energy solutions and, all these solutions. But what they really want to know is how they can keep driving to Walmart in the SUV to keep buying the stuff from China. They don't want anything to really change. But we're coming up to inevitable changes. We are not going to keep being able to drive the SUV around back and forth to Walmart. It's not going to happen. Will we have energy? Sure, but it's not going to be like what we've had, and it's not going to be at the, consumption and the waste that we're accustomed to by any means. A big thing that Kunstler also talks about, when there was a great call earlier, I'm sorry I can't remember his name, but he was talking about, the way that we put people into the military, and then we don't provide for them when they come back, and just, how we push people into that. And they they have less and less of a country that's worth fighting for, because it's just a suburban wasteland. What are we fighting for? What are we keeping? A country that doesn't give health care as a right to its citizens? We're not a free country until we're taking care of our people. There's just no other way about it. So let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention, another great thing for everyone to watch, if you haven't seen it, on Netflix, is a documentary I just watched about the Black Panthers. It's called Vanguard of the Revolution. And I love history. History is a big interest of mine, and I think that you can learn so much. And that's recent history. So there's a ton of it because there's so many people still alive that were right in the middle of all that. And it's a really well done. It's a 2-hour-long series, and there's certainly more that they could have put in there, but then it would have lasted, a very long time. But one of the figures that really stood out to me was a guy named Fred Hampton? Fred Hartman, I can't remember the last
Hampton,
name.
You're correct.
He was an amazing guy, and he was this young fellow. Very, very good speaker, really, was able to organize well. And the most dangerous thing that he did, to him personally, was he started reaching across to people. He started going to the poor white communities and the poor Latino communities, and he started really, connecting with them. And as a result, of course, Hoover and the government, they took out an assassination hit on him, killed him at 21 years old. And so, yeah, I think when I hear people saying that, Bernie's being, potentially threatened and things like that, it's altogether possible. Because that's probably the most dangerous thing anyone can do in this country, is to reach out across race, across sex, across, economy, and really connect with everyone. Because when everyone starts working together, that's what it's all about. Then the gig is up. They're not going to be able to fight against that. But, it's a little scary, too, because, you see that. Anytime there's been a revolution or a movement like that, a lot of times it ends in violence. Because they don't want it. They don't want it. The powers that be do not want us to have free health care. They do not want it. They will fight tooth and nail, and it does worry me that it's just going to somehow devolve into violence at some point. Because, you study the French Revolution, study, the Black Panthers, study any of these situations where people keep on knocking on the door and saying, we need this, we need this. And the Black Panthers did the same thing because they were offering free medical clinics. They would, get doctors to come in and help the people in the communities. They would arrange, kitchens for people that were hungry. And so it's like, if people keep saying, we need this, if the government and, the powers that be ignore it long enough, they're going to have a violent uprising. It's just, that's history, and we're going to repeat it if we don't learn from it quick.